Welcome to our channel Electrical and Control Engineering. Today in this lecture we will discuss the optimal placement of phase measurement unit to make the system observable. So in this lecture we will be discussing the different optimization techniques for different IEEE buses to minimize the number of phase measurement units that should be placed to measure the phases of current and voltage. So
For any help related to our lectures or power systems research, contact us at the email given in the description. And keep watching our channel.
So first of all, let's define the phase PMU. So what's PMU? It actually provides the synchronized measurements of real-time phasors of bus voltage and bus currents, and these measurements are synchronized, and this is achieved by sampling the voltage and current waveform using the common synchronizing from the global positioning system. So actually this is like a PMU units in a power system. So these are synchronized with the GPS, GPS satellite. So all the measurements of this system are simultaneously taken. So all the measurement in a power system should be synchronized. Otherwise, there is no advantage of if we don't make it synchronized. So different procedures. We are different research papers. There are different research papers. This one, and similarly there is other one research paper. This is the third one research paper. This is the third one research paper. That's the optimal placement of phase measurement units for power system observability. So you will be observing results of different research papers. For example, for a power system of 14 buses, this proposed algorithm in this paper has minimum number required PMUs. Minimum number of PMUs required are 3. So similarly for 18 bus, 30 bus, 57 bus, and this is the other research paper that we will be seeing, and this one. So let's come again to the topic. That first of all, we have made it clear that what's the purpose of an PMU, phase measurement unit. So let's define the first observability. So first of all, there are certain rules that we should keep in mind while placing these PMUs, phase measurement unit, in a power system to make the bus observable. So the first rule is, so installation of PMU at specific bus make itself this bus observable, and the buses incident to this buses are also observable. So there are two observability. First, direct observable buses. Those buses on which the PMU is placed are called direct observable buses. So, and those buses which are incident, which are connected to these buses, are indirect observable buses. So all the buses that are directly connected to this PMU and those are connected to those buses where the PMU is placed are also observable. For example, in this case the star indicating that PMU is placed here. So the bus number 9 and the buses that are connected to the bus number 9 are observable. So bus number 9 connected buses are 7, 4, 10 and 14. So these connected incident buses to this bus number 9 are also observable. Though this is the first rule of observability. So the second rule is, if one bus observable among a zero injection buses. So first of all, let's define the zero injection buses. So the zero injection buses is the bus where no current is being drawn, means there is no load at that bus, is called a zero injection bus. So among zero injection buses, if one bus is observable among a zero injection buses, and entire incident buses, it can be made observable using KCL, and it's saying that among a zero injection buses and entire incident buses can be made observable if one of them among those zero injection buses are observable. How? So let's suppose that this bus is bus number 7 is zero injection buses. So let's suppose there are certain other buses like here we define here is another zero injection buses, here is some other, so we also remove this one and consider it like a zero bus. For example, there is some other zero injection bus, there is some other zero injection buses. So among these 4 to 5 or whatever zero injection buses, if one of these zero injection buses is observable, then all buses can be made observable. So this is the second rule. Among zero injection buses, if one of the zero injection buses, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, if any of them is made observable, or the buses that are incident to this these buses are observable, then these all buses will be observable. So for example, in this case, the bus number, we consider this for now, just for example, for supposition that this bus number 8 is observable, we have disconnected this DG. So this bus number 9 is incident to this bus number 7, so this bus number 7 is indirectly observable. So among all these zero injection buses, one bus is observable, so all the buses will be observable. So this is that's the second rule. So the third rule, if entire incident buses are connected to unobservable zero injection buses are observable, then the zero injection bus can be made observable. This rule saying that if all the buses incident connected to a certain bus, unobservable zero injection buses are observable, then these zero injection bus can also be made observable either by using the KCL or KVLs. So it means that this is the zero injection bus, and the bus is incident means that bus is connected to this zero injection bus. These are bus number 9 and bus number 4, bus number 3. These are incident, these are observable. Why these are observable? Because at bus number 9 already the PMU is placed, so this is observable, and the bus number 4 and 3 are also observable because at bus number 2 the PMU is present there, so connected buses to this bus number 2 are also observable. So bus number 4, bus number 3 and bus number 9 are observable. So this is a zero injection buses, this will be also be made observable by applying the KCL and KVL. If this is made observable, so this bus can also be made by applying the KVL, KCL, this bus can also be made observable. So the third rule is, if all the buses incident to a zero injection bus, to this bus incident connected to this bus are observable, then this bus can also be made observable. So these are certain rules that are used to define the observability, to find the minimum number of PMU units that should be placed. So there are certain rules that should be used, design rules that should be used to find the optimal placement of PMU. So the first step is to find the connectivity matrix, how the buses are connected. So then find the isolated or radial buses, and then they remove the zero injection buses, and etc, etc. So these are different techniques that can be used, and the results are here. Suppose for a 14 bus system, the location of zero injection bus is bus number 7, as we have seen that. So the results that the minimum 3 number of PMUs are required if consider a zero injection bus technique. So for 14 bus system, a minimum 3 number of PMUs are required to make the system observable. And similarly for here, for bus number 14 bus system 3, and for 37, and similarly for 39, for 57 and 118, and different techniques and different optimization techniques, particle swarm, dual search or genetic algorithm are compared here. So you can also here in this research paper, the results are so minimum number of 3 PMUs are required for IEEE 14 bus system, 18 bus system 4, and for 37, and so on. And there are 2 ways. So the first thing is that if zero injection bus is considered, and the second technique is if the zero injection bus is not considered. So if the zero injection bus is not considered, then for 14 bus system, instead of 4 phase measurement unit are required. So for example, in this case you can see that the star means the PMU is placed there. So the first PMU is placed there, this PMU is placed there, and one PMU is placed there, 3, and the fourth one is placed here. So we were seeing that when there is on the bus in where the PMU is placed is directly observable. So this bus is observable, and the buses connected to these buses are also observable. So this bus is connected to this one, this is observable. This bus is connected to this PMU bus is also observable. So this bus is connected to this PMU bus, so this is also observable. This bus is connected to this PMU bus, so this is also observable. This bus is also connected to this PMU, and similarly this bus is observable because this is connected to this PMU bus, and this is also connected to PMU bus, and this is also connected to this PMU bus, and this bus is also connected to this or both to this one. So all you can see, all the buses are observable, so the phasor of voltage and current can be found easily. And this bus can also be observed as this is connected to this PMU bus. If you consider the zero injection buses technique, so there are two different techniques, without zero injection buses and zero injection buses. So if you connected, consider it, so we will be using those rules. So example, for this PMU is placed here, number 1, and this is the case when zero injection bus is considered. This is second one, and this one is third one. So first of all, make the direct observable. This is directly observable, this is directly observable, this is directly observable. So indirect observable will be this one, and this is also connected to this one. This is also observable, this is also connected to this one, this is also observable. These two buses are connected directly with a PMU bus, so this is also observable. This bus is connected to this PMU bus, this is also observable, and this PMU bus is connected to this bus, observable. All this is also observable, this is also observable. So we are left with these two buses. So with the three buses we have made observable all the buses, so we have made left with these two buses. As we have already defined this, in case if we consider the zero injection bus, so if all the incident buses connected to a zero injection buses are observable, so this bus can also be made observable by using the KCL. So applying the KCL, so this bus can be made observable. So if this bus is made, so the applying the KVL and KCL, this terminal bus can also be made observable. So the phasor and measurements of this bus and this bus are also measured. So for considering the zero injection buses for a IEEE 14 bus system, so minimum 3 number of that should be placed at bus number 2, bus number 6, and bus number 9. So we have implemented the 14 bus system and the 30 bus system. And if you open it 30 bus system, so we implemented the two techniques, the considering the zero injection bus and without considering the zero injection buses. So if you don't consider the zero injection bus, this technique, then this technique will have more number of required PMU buses. So let's consider the ZIB, consider the zero injection bus. So we have further 4 optimization techniques. So this simulation is, this case study is actually 13 bus system and 14 bus system, and in each there is a 2 further case studies considering the zero injection buses and without considering the zero injection buses. So by considering the zero injection buses, for each case there are further 4 techniques for each case study, for each bus system. Then for each case study zero injection buses, without, for each one there are 4 optimization techniques: the ABC, the GA, the PSO, and the hybrid technique. So for example, this is the so there are different functions to make to find the observability, to find the connectivity, to find the function of PMU placement. This is the line data of that 30 bus system, and similarly there are different functions here in this sorting and Y calculation, and how these buses are the index of different matrices. So let's see the simulations. So this is the simulation, and this is the particle swarm optimization considering the zero injection bus. So this is the main bus. There are some other functions, so like defining the observability of the buses, and this is the OIB function, and radial buses. To find this function is to find the radial buses, and similarly this is the find is to find the connectivity of the two buses, whether they are connected to or not. So this is all the check the connection of the two buses. So this is our main function, that is finding the optimal number of this is the main file. So that will be calling the optimization algorithm to find the optimal number of buses that should optimal number of PMUs that should be placed in a power system, and where they should be placed. It will give, let's run it. So it's running. So after some time it will give us results. So let's see the results. What are the results? So after the convergence, it has given us results that the final results are here. The optimization is ended. Relative change in the Bessel function over the last iteration is, so the optimal place PMUs are 2, 6 and 9. So as I already tell you that for 14 bus system, by considering the zero injection buses, the minimum number of PMUs are required are 2, 6, 9. So this is our a case study that we have simulated 30 bus system, 14 bus system using these 4 research papers. You are seeing we have reproduced the results of these using 4 different optimization techniques: particle, SWAMP, GA. You can also request us for simulatory annealing and binary searches and some like Firefly algorithm, differential evolution, and different optimization techniques. You can ask us, we can simulate it. So we have also used this research paper, this one, the results of, you can see the results of also, you are seeing it. So thank you for listening us.
For any help related to our lectures or power systems research, contact us at the email given in the description. And keep watching our channel.